Hey guys, my name is Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I like to post budget-friendly recipes, so if you're into that sort of thing, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And today I have 3 really delicious, really easy dinner ideas for you, so stick around and let's get started. Alright, so this first one is actually from the Budget Bites blog. It is crunchy ramen stir fry. And typically right here, you're going to cube up a piece of chicken breast, uncooked, and throw it in right here. But I had some of these chicken breasts that were already cooked, you know, that frozen. And they had been in my freezer for a while, so I wanted to use them up. So I figured this was a perfect time to do so. So I'm just kind of heating them up, and some of the bigger pieces as they cook a little bit and thaw some, I am just kind of cutting them in half. And then you're going to toss in about a tablespoon of this ginger and minced garlic and stir that around. And next you're gonna throw in a whole bag of coleslaw. I did not put in the whole bag, forgot how much this stuff cooks down, and wished in the end I would have. So throw it all in there and stir it around until it starts wilting a little bit. And you're gonna pour in your sauce, which is just a combination of brown sugar, sesame oil, and soy sauce. But I will have the recipes linked down below or typed out down below if there's not a link for them. And all these recipes, so you'll see here I was kind of worried that the chicken was going to cook too much, so that's why I was kind of moving it around a little bit more, which might have slowed down the cooking of the coleslaw, but in the end it was delicious. And once that is all cooked down, you're going to just pour in a crushed up packet of ramen without the seasoning and stir it up. And that crunch is so good with it. It sounded good. It was one of those things, and I have so many ramen packets. We don't like the shrimp that we got from Sam's, so we have all these packets I need to use the noodles for, so I thought this would be a good try. And yes, it ended up being really, really good. And then I also, like I said, I didn't cook enough coleslaw, and I probably need a little bit more chicken. There wasn't quite enough for all of us, so I had the rest of a bag of dumplings and wontons in the freezer, so I threw them in this we've been using this tortilla warmer and just putting a little bit of water and cooking it for about 2.5 minutes, and they're like perfectly steamed. My husband did that and found out how easily that works, so that's what we're doing now. And then you're going to just top it with some green onion, and it also recommended sriracha mayo, yes, and it was just equal parts sriracha and mayo. I think it was like a tablespoon each is what I used, but I just drizzled it on top at the end, served some soy sauce with these wontons, and this dinner was awesome. We added it to our favorites list. I've been trying to compile a list of favorites to kind of get better at rotating. So anyways, this is so good, highly recommended. Next, I'm just making up some sausage and rigatoni type dinner. I had some Italian sausage in my freezer that I had pulled out to thaw, trying to kind of eat out of our freezer for a little bit. So I've got a pound of Italian sausage, a little bit of olive oil in the pan first, and some minced garlic, and I'm just cooking that until it is cooked all the way through. And then I'm going to throw in a can of crushed tomatoes, about 2 teaspoons of oregano, Italian seasoning, some of the Trader Joe's onion salt, or you could just use onion powder and a little bit of extra salt or something if you don't have that. Probably 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and Then I'm just going to stir that and let it simmer while my noodles finish cooking. Decided to throw in just a pinch of red chili flakes in there too for just a tiny bit of heat, and it was like the perfect amount. And then when the sauce was all ready, my noodles were almost done, I poured in probably about a half a cup of heavy whipping cream and stirred that up. I love the consistency and the creaminess this gives a pasta. Of course, I don't put it in all of them or anything, but I was just playing around and throwing something together, and this ended up being so delicious. So once my noodles were done, I drained them and just stirred it in. I let it sit for a few minutes. I topped it with a little bit of melted mozzarella, and some fresh basil would have been really good with this too. I really wish I would have had some, so I recommend using that if you have any. And this was kid approved, of course. Everybody loved it. I was so sad because I didn't even get seconds. And lastly, I had some potatoes I wanted to use up, and I had seen recently on Pinterest, I think, grilled cheese sloppy joes. I didn't follow the recipe. It was like homemade, you know, sloppy joes, which I've actually done recently and I do like it, but I was looking for something a little bit easier. So first I'm starting out with my red potatoes though. I have just diced them up, washed them off, and in my electric skillet I have a little bit of avocado oil and 2-3 tablespoons of butter. And then once that's melted, I'm just going to pour them in there. And the seasoning I chose this time was this Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse. It was amazing on the potatoes. I don't think I've ever tried it on potatoes, and that stuff is so good. We'll be using that on there from now on. So I feel like you can never under season potatoes, or over. I put so much on there and it was so good. You're just going to sprinkle like at least until they're all a little bit covered. That's what I recommend. Stir them up and then put the lid back on. I think mine's about 250 degrees. And just every couple minutes, you know, just kind of stirring them around, make sure they don't get too burnt. And while those were cooking, I browned up a pound of ground beef, and then I'm pouring in my manwich and just stirring that up. Now I've got some butter melting in my skillet, getting ready for the grilled cheese part. And those are the cheeses that I chose. I put one of each on there and forgot how creamy that Velveeta cheese is, the sliced. I hadn't used it in so long. I would highly recommend doing one because for what it's worth, that was too much cheese. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but it was. If you're using like American cheese or something, you know, I think two would be just fine, but that stuff is just so creamy. And like I said, one. Or like maybe split it, one on each side. Either way, too much cheese. That was my only complaint, and actually my husband agreed. So, but here I've got Texas toast, and I've got one slice of cheese on top of that, and then I've spooned the sloppy joe mixture, and then placed another piece of cheese, as you can see, and Texas toast, the other piece, then just cooking it like a grilled cheese until the bread starts to brown, and flipping it over. And these were really good. My kids absolutely loved them. They didn't complain about too much cheese, but me and my husband were both like, it's a little bit too much. And of course, I just spoon some of those potatoes alongside this after I cut it up. You can see there it looks, I mean, it's really good. It looks good. It's as good as it looks, just too much cheese, like I said probably 5 times now. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button for me and subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy my content, and I will see y'all in the next one.